Patriots, tonight, the truth about what just happened in Texas will leave you shaking your head in anger and heartbreak. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now. So right now, across the Texas Hill Country, families are burying loved ones. 32 Americans gone, 14 of them children, washed away in a flash flood that was so sudden, the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in 45 minutes, sweeping kids from campgrounds, families from their homes, and entire communities straight into chaos. Now, I know that not everyone lives in Texas, but drop an amen for the folks who are suffering during this very difficult time. And I want you to let me know where you're watching the show from. Now, here's what you won't hear from mainstream spin machine. This tragedy didn't just happen because of a storm. It happened because of a man who betrayed his oath. Alejandro Mayorkas, Joe Biden's old DHS boss, who spent 4 years flooding America's southern border instead of protecting the people who actually live here. And now, President Donald J. Trump, the current president of the United States, is done watching. He just released a scorching message for Mayorkas, calling him out by name, demanding that this time somebody finally answers for the years of betrayal that left small towns defenseless when the water came crashing in. Now, President Trump's words are clear. He failed. Families paid the ultimate price, and now lock them up. So stay right there, guys, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how Mayorkas' border failures drained Texas dry, left families unprotected, and turned a natural disaster into a national scandal. Oh, you're also going to see how Governor Greg Abbott is standing shoulder to shoulder with President Trump to clean up Mayorkas' mess. You're going to hear how Mayorkas lied to Congress, never got that Biden pardon, and why President Trump's new DOJ might finally do what should have been done years ago: hold that man accountable. So buckle up, guys, because what you're about to see here, what's coming up next, you're going to know exactly why Americans are chanting right now. Lock him up. Lock him up. Okay, so don't go anywhere, guys. Oh, yeah. It is June 6th, a date that every Texan will remember. And unlike the years that we spent watching Joe Biden stumble through excuses, stumble up staircases, today we stand with Donald J. Trump as president of the United States, doing exactly what he promised, putting Americans first. And right there on the ground, right beside him, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, standing shoulder to shoulder with Trump. No politics, no delays, just action for the families in the Texas Hill Country who were hit by one of the most devastating floods in living memory. In just 45 minutes, I know it doesn't even seem real, and some folks say this sounds like a biblical scene. The peaceful Guadalupe River turned into a monster. It rose 26 feet, roaring over roads, destroying roads, highways, bridges, smashing through homes, tearing apart everything in its path. And the human cost, it's gut-wrenching. 32 Americans gone, swept away overnight. 14 of them were children. Now, these were not just statistics, folks. These were sons, daughters, grandparents, neighbors, co-workers, ripped away as they slept, maybe even huddling or attempting to huddle on rooftops, begging for help as the water rose higher and higher. And for some families, the horror hit even harder, because among the lost and missing were girls from Camp Mystic, an all-girls camp that turned into a trap when the water just came crashing through the hill country. But here's the only thing that really kind of kept that death toll from climbing even higher: the grit of real Texans, local firefighters. Those are the real modern-day heroes, if you ask me. Shout out to the firefighters out there. Sheriff's deputies, neighbors linking arms, over 850 people rescued, pulling people from trees and rooftops, raging currents. And guess who was right there backing them every step of the way? President Trump and Governor Greg Abbott. Now, Abbott didn't waste a second. He walked through the devastation, met with families, got search and rescue rolling around the clock, guys. Now, here's my question for every one of you who's watching right now. If you believe that families should always come before politics and that Mayorkas must be held accountable for every lie and betrayal, then I want you to drop the word accountable in the comments right now. I'm going to be seeing what you guys are saying, but let's see exactly how many Americans still demand the truth. And listen close, because In the next part, I want to show you exactly how this nightmare wasn't just a freak act of nature. This was made worse by Mayorkas' open border disaster that drained Texas dry when families needed help the most. All right, let's talk about the party that they really don't want you to put together, okay? This is the part that they don't want you to put together, but I'm gonna go ahead and spell it all out for you guys so that you guys understand what's happening. You see, while Texas and Texans were paying the ultimate price in rising floodwaters, there's one man out there whose name just keeps on coming up: Alejandro Mayorkas. Under former President Joe Biden, Mayorkas ran Homeland Security like a revolving door. 21 million illegal crossings in just 4 years. How's that even possible? Guys, that's not border control. That's an invasion, okay? And where all of this chaos hit the hardest, right here, small towns like Texas Hill Country. Local budgets that should have gone to flood sirens, reinforced levees, early warning systems, gone. Drained dry, covering border crisis costs that never should have landed on the doorsteps of these folks in the first place. Local sheriffs and mayors begged Alejandro Mayorkas and Biden's DHS for help. Not just once, but for years they begged for help. Stronger local resources, more funding for emergency readiness, help to secure families when the next disaster hit. But Mayorkas, of course, he ignored them. Meetings, letters, phone calls, swept under the rug while he bragged on TV that the border was under control. Sounds like a big fat lie to me. And here's the real kicker. Mayorkas didn't just fail. He lied to Congress under oath. Back in 2023, he just sat there. He looked senators right in their eyes and claimed that he had operational control of the border. He didn't. And we all know that, because while he spun that lie in Washington, rural counties like Kerr County, they were stuck patching up flood defenses with crumbs, scraping by whatever little dimes that got rerouted to process record crossings and feed Washington's open border fantasy. So here's what I want you to do right now. If you're sick and tired of DC's suits lying through their teeth while real Americans are drowning in their mess, drop the word enough in the comments down below, guys. Let the country see you. All right, so definitely stay locked in, guys, because you're going to see how Governor Greg Abbott stepped up like a real leader and how President Trump's team is making sure that this betrayal ends now. No excuses, no delays, no swamp cover-ups. All right, anyone can promise savings. Anyone can do that. If their word doesn't mean anything, then what good is it, right? But here's the difference with Chapter. Chapter actually proves it. And this is why I attach my name to them. Leslie Taylor, for example, she left me a comment, said, saved $1,000 a year, real savings. Jamie from Texas, I sure hope that she made it out before the flood. Hopefully she lives in a part of Texas that was not affected. But Jamie from Texas left a comment. She said $600 back, zero stress. Unbelievable. So give our friends at Chapter a call right now. They're friendly. It's a free service that I want to offer to my community. Phone number is down below, 909-563-8279, or you can hit them up on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. Receipts matter more than promises, if you ask me. All right. I want to go ahead and shift from the betrayal to the response, okay? Because when the storm hit, Texas didn't just sit back and wait. Governor Greg Abbott, he knew exactly what was at stake. He didn't waste a single second. He declared an expanded state disaster declaration within hours, cutting through the red tape, unlocking state resources, and making sure that families got help fast. But Abbott didn't stand alone, because this time, Texas has a president in the White House who actually listens when real Americans cry out for help. So Donald J. Trump, he stepped in immediately, signing a federal disaster declaration that was actually brought in. It brought in every tool, every agency, and every ounce of muscle that this particular country could offer this state within a moment's notice. There were no political games being played. There were no delays, no excuses, because you guys remember what they did with FEMA and how they overlooked all those homes that happened to have Trump signs or Trump or JD Vance signs in the yard. You remember what happened to those guys? Let me know if y'all remember that. Just real action for the people this time around. While Mayorkas spent years ignoring the border towns that actually needed help, President Trump, Governor Greg Abbott, They stood together, deploying DHS, FEMA, the Coast Guards, boots on the ground, ASAP, helicopters in the sky, to pull families from rooftops and from trees to clear the debris, to make sure that survivors weren't left stranded another minute longer. Some people didn't have another minute. And President Trump made it very clear that this was not just about headlines. It was about people. He personally praised the local first responders that were in Texas, the volunteer firefighters, the sheriffs, the neighbors who risked everything and saved over 850 lives from raging floodwaters. And he didn't stop there. President Trump made a promise right there on Texas soil. Every family impacted will get the help that they need, from funeral assistance to rebuilding support. This administration is not going to disappear once the cameras turn away. So drop the word support in the comments down below if you stand with Trump and Greg Abbott for putting families first and not the swamp. Oh, and don't move a muscle, guys, because I want to go ahead and expose this shield that Mayorkas thought that he had, and how President Trump's Justice Department is actually tearing this sucker down piece by piece. You're not going to want to miss that. So let's go ahead and connect the next dot that they don't want you talking about, okay? So when Joe Biden was limping out of office, he left behind this trail of shady deals and last-minute favors. He handed out controversial pardons, like Halloween candy, basically. Okay. And to be honest with you, some of these controversial pardons may not even been signed by Joe Biden. I think many of them he may not have even known about, because everyone and their mom was just using this auto pen to sign. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but I don't think he really pardoned all those people, and I don't even think that was legal. But nonetheless, they were handing out these controversial pardons like Halloween candy to political insiders, cronies on the J6 committee who destroyed evidence, even swamp bureaucrats who went and broke the rules to cover their own tracks. But here's a twist, guys. Alejandro Mayorkas didn't get one. No pardon, no protection, no hidden favor in a midnight folder. This guy's just hanging out there unprotected, willy-nilly, as they say, because even Biden knew Mayorkas' record was way too toxic to touch. By the way, if you guys appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Maybe Joe Biden was furious about how badly Mayorkas and Kamala Harris botched the border situation. I don't even know. Maybe they wanted him to take the heat alone. Who knows? But now it means one thing. With President Trump back in command, Mayorkas is fully exposed. There's no signature shielding him, no get out of jail free card. President Trump's Justice Department is already greenlighting a full legal review. Every lie, every cover up, every penny wasted on border chaos instead of protecting American towns. Now, here's a gut punch that makes even this flood even more infuriating. The flood sirens that could have saved families that night, they were never funded. Why? I'll tell you why. Because Mayorkas' DHS poured billions of dollars into processing record illegal crossings, but he ignored the repeated pleas and begging from the local Texas leaders to install basic flood alert systems. These folks, they didn't have a chance. They were sitting ducks. Kristi Noem, now running Homeland Security under Trump, confirmed it. Her team is digging through every piece of paperwork to expose why Mayorkas ignored rural readiness for years. Meanwhile, bragging about operational control. And it gets worse. The National Weather Service and AccuWeather did their job. They sent out the warnings before the river rose, but guess what? The infrastructure to blast the warnings to the families fast, well, it wasn't there. It was missing. It was defunded. It was forgotten. So National Weather Service, AccuWeather, they did their job, but if the infrastructure is not there to get the message out, what can they do? So it's not even their fault. More shortcomings from Alejandro Mayorkas. People in Kerr County went to bed with no clue that the river was about to swallow their homes in a matter of hours. This is Mayorkas' legacy. Now, if you believe that Mayorkas must face consequences for every warning ignored and every life lost, drop the word justice in the comments down below. I want you to show this swamp here that we see exactly what they buried. And stick with me, guys, because I want to go ahead and bring this home. I want to talk about the real cost of this betrayal, because it's nothing short of a betrayal. President Trump's clear promise to the families, and why this time when we say lock him up, we actually mean it. All right, Patriots. So Let's go ahead and bring this home. Every family, we need to make sure everybody understands what's going on. Every family, every neighbor, every town in America knows exactly what this Texas horror really cost us. And unfortunately, the truth is the border betrayal didn't just dump chaos on our southern line. It bled our communities dry. Towns like Kerrville and Hill Country, they should have had the strongest levees, the best flood systems, the best flood sirens, modern warning systems. But Mayorkas' open border free-for-all burned through millions of dollars that should have been protecting these families. Now think about this, right? How many lives could have been saved if those dollars had gone to flood defense instead of bus tickets, hotel rooms, legal bills for people who shouldn't have been here in the first place? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the real cost of betrayal. Not just the crime at the border, but 32 Texans gone, 14 children who never got to grow up, communities left to bury their own while the swamp pretends that they did nothing wrong. But not anymore, guys. Under President Trump is not letting this thing go. He stood in front of families beside Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, and he made one promise loud and clear: never again. No more lies from unaccountable bureaucrats. No more borders draining our towns dry. No more excuses when nature strikes. Only action, only protection, only America first, every time. And if the evidence shows Mayorkas broke the law, lied under oath, put American lives at risk for politics, I'll just tell you right now, Trump's Justice Department will do what Biden never had the guts to do: hold that man accountable. And that means this time, when Americans chant it, they mean it. Lock him up. Governor Greg Abbott stands ready to funding new sirens, new levees, local rescue upgrades, everything Mayorkas neglected. Trump and Abbott are building back stronger. Guys, families, you are not alone. Not on Trump's watch, not now, not ever. So here's what you do. If you stand with Trump, if you stand with Abbott, with every Texan picking up the pieces tonight, drop the word never again in the comments down below. Let the entire country see where you stand. Hit the like button, share this video with every American who's tired of watching the swamp betray their families. And remember, guys, they failed us once. They will not fail us twice, not with Trump back in charge. Stay strong, folks. God bless Texas. We'll see you next time.